Morning, gang. It's Tuesday, the 26th of March, 2019. Welcome to this morning's United Kingdom tour, coming to you from Bracknell here in Royal Berkshire. Now, I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on Cyprus time at the moment, which, to be honest, it doesn't really bother me. I did think, maybe we're going a little bit too early for people. They won't be up yet. How wrong could I be? Just the same amount of people watching as there normally is at this time of the when we do the show. Like 10. But it doesn't matter because you are special people. Someone told me that once. You're a special little boy and it's our little secret. Now, who was that? I can't remember. Anyway, yes, you are special people, so don't worry. Oh, blimey, hang on a minute. My seat keeps falling. What it is on the floor, this television studio complex has got carpet on it, right? And directly underneath me is literally a piece of square wood. Large, which used to be my stage that I had in Belush's. I had this portable... Just a minute. And I've got to move it because it's moved. Just a second. It slides around. Hang on. Oh, God. That's it. Right, I've done that now. Yes, what it is it's like a piece of plywood, quite thick, and it's all been... I don't know what you call it, tempered and varnished and all that. That used to be my little portable stage that I would carry around to various venues. Belush's in London Bridge. I think it's been to Belush's Hammersmith and where else? The Golden Lion in Sydenham. I used to take it there. And it's ever so easy. It's just a big piece of flat wood. I haven't got the side bits, and the side bits used to slot together. 1, 2, 3, 4, put the thing on top. Hey, presto, you had like a portable stage, but I don't use it anymore. In this room, if I've got the wheels on the carpet would wear out really quickly. So I've simply put the bit of wood onto the floor. I know what you're saying. Why don't you screw it down then? Oh, because I'm worried about there might be pipes in the floor. The central heating pipes and the water things in the floor. So that's why it's not screwed down. I'm a bit worried about that. Years ago, I think I was about 18 at the time. Mum and Dad, they wanted a coat rack. They wanted a coat rack in the hall where we had a flat in Roehampton. And I said, well, where do you want it? Oh, put it above the electrical box there. Okay, so I thought, okay. So I got this drill out, and there were hard walls because all these places were made of concrete in Roehampton. So I got the first hole in, and I'm doing the second hole. Bang! It went. Sparks flying out, and all the power went off. I thought, oh my God! And I think we then rang up my sister. Because my brother-in-law at the time was it still is an electrician, but not like up-to-date type electrician. If you do certain trade things, you've got to be up-to-date on all the safety issues, and they change every bloody week, every year, well, every week probably. Another form to sign, another thing to do. But he used to be electrician, so he came over, and what had happened, of course, where the electrical box was like that, well, the wires go straight up. I've gone straight through the wires. And ever since then, I've been very worried about drilling holes in walls and certainly in floors because I know there's some pipes under here somewhere for the central heating, but I don't know where. So that's why it's not screwed down or indeed nailed down onto the floor like that. Anyway, lovely day yesterday, wasn't it, with the weather? Wasn't it beautiful? See, I've brought the Cyprus sun with me. It's beautiful, and today it's going to be beautiful as well. My last lot of washing is hanging out on the line. And I never told you yesterday about the baby James meltdown, did I? Oh, no. As you know, last week I was in Cyprus on holiday with my niece and her family. She's got 3 children. Great nephew George, 6. Great niece Emily, who is 4 or 5. And then there's baby James, who is a year and a half. I told you almost all the holiday yesterday. And as I came off and the music was rolling at the end of yesterday's show, I remember, I haven't told them about the baby James meltdown. Oh, yes. So one afternoon, I think it was Thursday or Friday afternoon, I'm in the house with my niece and her husband. Baby James has gone to bed for his little mid-morning nap. They just fall asleep randomly, babies, don't they? I say babies, about a year and a half old now. And I have threatened to remove the word baby from baby James to my niece just before I went on holiday, but I've decided to keep it going for a bit longer. He's not quite into toddlerhood yet. He is going to nursery yet, but I'm looking at him. You're not quite ready to drop the word baby from baby James. Baby James! Not ready yet. So it was around about 1:15 in the afternoon. I'm in the living room, sitting on the settee. They're doing bits. And my niece has come in. We're just going to go and get the children from school now. Oh, okay, then. Do you want to wait here with baby James? Oh, well, where is he? Oh, he'd be all right. He's asleep upstairs in bed. And I'm like, well, I don't know about... I've never babysit for a baby. Never done that. Never done. I've done it for slightly older ones, but only for like half an hour at a time. And then I babysat once for... It's not really babysit. Child sat once for my cousin's little girl. That was ages ago. I think she was about 7 at the time. Oh, that was exciting. Oh, my God. That was on this little island in the middle of the Pacific between Australia and New Zealand, Norfolk Island. And we're sitting there. I'm sitting on the settee. This is in Norfolk Island. I'm sitting on the settee, right? And the little girl, she's on the floor in front of like a table doing, stuff. I can't remember. Maybe a colouring book or some sort of game. And all of a sudden she screamed out and jumped onto the settee. Oh, what on earth is wrong? She said, there's a bug. There's a bug. Where's the bug? Where's the bug? On the wall. And on this wall, I kid you not, it was the size of a bird. Oh, my God, there was this massive thing on the wall. I was terrified. And I don't know what happened, but at some point, this bug dropped off the wall onto the floor, and I just threw a pillow over it. She was screaming, and then she didn't move from there until my cousin came home. I actually fell asleep with her. She was like that in my arm, like, as me being all protective, although drop dead scared as well at the same time. And then my cousin came in. Well, I was woken up by tapping on the window. Him and his wife were looking, tapped on the window like that. And they're like this. And they said, you all right? I said, yeah, there was a bit of an incident. He said, oh, what happened, mate? I said, there was a bug. He said, right. He said, well, I said, she screamed. Anyway, it's under there. Where's that, mate? I'd thrown a cushion on it. I said, it's under that cushion reel somewhere. So he's lifted the cushion and he said, no, it's not, mate. Oh, my God, where is this bug? Anyway, we found it in the end. It had gone onto another wall. And he had this spray, psst, that's it, fell off the floor dead, mate. It's in a matter of seconds, dead. Cruelty to insects, that's what that is. Anyway, that was that incident. Back to last week. So she's saying, oh, you'll be all right. I said, well, what if he wakes up? Oh, she said, you'll hear little cries from upstairs. Just go upstairs, pick him up, bring him downstairs, and play with him. And literally on the floor, and our children's toys are. They're all over the house, aren't they? If you've got children, you fall over the toys all over the place. So on the floor is this like little wooden thing, that you put cars around. You can move cars around on this thing and up and down little bridges and that sort of thing. It's like a little road, just a little layout like that it is. Well, I don't know about that, Joel. Go on, you'll be all right. Oh, well, go on. How long will you be? She said, we won't be long. No more than 10 minutes. Oh, well, okay then. Go on, off you go. At the moment, so they've gone. I've got the telly on at the moment, so I've turned the telly off. I thought I'll have a little bit of music on. So they've got the Amazon Echo. So, Alexa, play classical music. Sorry, those of you that have got Alexas it's now started playing classical music. Sorry about that. Alexa, shut up. There you go, all right? See how I can control your Alexa from here? Isn't that marvellous? Alexa, play ABBA, If It Wasn't for the Night. Is it doing it now? Just a minute, don't say anything. Alexa, shut up. Yeah, it's stopped now, isn't it? So anyway, I started off, I thought I better not have that on. So I said, Alexa, shut up. So it then stopped. So I'm now sitting there in complete silence, which is okay. Yeah, it's okay. Sitting there in silence, I'm just pondering life and got my phone here, doing Facebook messages and stuff like that. And then after about 10 minutes, there's some little cries coming from upstairs. Not loud, just little cries. So up the stairs I've got. It's quite a big house that they've got. Up the stairs I've trotted. Gone into his room, and there he is. He's got his arms up like that, ready to be picked up, you see. Like that is. All right, baby James, come on then, darling. And I picked him up and he put his arms around my neck. I thought, oh, that's nice. So we've gone down the stairs. Put him on the floor in the stairs because he can walk around now. And he's starting crying a bit louder. Mummy won't be long. She's just gone to go and get George and Emily from the school. Like that he is. And the snot's getting worse now. It's getting worse. Come on, baby. Now he's now taken a couple of steps back from me. I thought, oh, well, that's not good. You know, he's obviously lost confidence in me now because Mummy isn't there. Probably thinks, you know, like I've murdered her and chopped her up into bits and put them into carrier bags and put them in the bin or something. I don't know what goes through a baby's mind. You don't know, do you? So he's taken a couple of steps back. She won't be long. The crying's getting louder now. Louder. And the snot is coming out of the nose. Right? He looks really upset. So I'm talking calmly to him. Mummy won't be here long. Come on, let's play with this. And I've picked up this wooden helicopter. And he's gone, whoo, just knocked it out of my hand like that. Not interested. Not interested in the wooden helicopter. Look, and then he's pointing to the door. Okay, come on then. So he's gone out the door into the hallway. He's looking in like the toy area underneath the stairs. And as he's going there, the crying kind of calms down. And he goes out there. And he's looks under the stairs. She's not there. Crying gets louder again. And then he points towards the kitchen. I thought, oh, blimey, we're now going to have to tour the entire house to look for Mummy. In the kitchen. Looking around in the kitchen. No, she's not in there. And next to it, right next to it, the utility room. Come on, let's have a look upstairs. And I thought, well, if I keep him busy looking around the house, I thought to myself, well, that'll take 10 minutes. You know, and by then she'll be back. Please God. So gone in the utility. Now we're going up the stairs. Now, of course, he's only a year and a half, so he does the one step at a time thing. You know, like a kitten. Have you ever seen a kitten when it goes up and down stairs? You know, one step at a time. Baby James is the same. He's doing one step at a time. You know, one leg up, then the other leg up. So it's a slow process getting up the stairs. I thought, well, that'll buy me some time as well. Up we go. Up we go. Now we're getting to George and Emily's room. They're in one room at the moment because they're only little. In the George. Looking around. Not in there. Out we come. Now into my niece and her husband's bedroom. So we've gone in there. And that looks like a blooming bomb's hit it. Oh dear, I'll have to have a word with that with my niece about keeping her room tidy. She was like that when she was a little girl. I never forget when she was living at Mum's house. Sorry, I beg your pardon. My sister's house, her mother. When I was visiting, I would stay in like the spare room, and I went in her room once. Oh my God! Well, she had this double bed, and I kid you not, it was covered in makeup things, lipsticks, and that thing that they put on their eyes, and powder, and all sorts of. The entire bed was covered in it. And I remember saying to her, she was about 14 or 15 at the time, something like that. I said, where do you sleep? She said, diagonally in the middle of it all. Well, her bedroom, no, she's now 31 or 32. Her bedroom's exactly the same. God knows how they get in the bed. Anyway, baby James is now looking in her room now. And he hasn't started crying yet. I thought, oh, that's good. That's because he forgot. He hasn't looked yet in the ensuite bathroom. Oh, yes, they got ensuite bathroom. I haven't even got one here. Or in the caravan. An ensuite bathroom. Very posh. Have you got one of those? Ensuite bathroom. So he's gone in the ensuite. She can't see it. He's gone right over to the bath and looked in it like that. Not in there. So he's come out of that room. Now we're going into the main bathroom. He's gone in there again, looked right over the bath. She's not in there. Oh, it's crying now. Loud. So, well, come on, let's go back downstairs. So we went back downstairs. Now he's going into the back garden. Okay? So we open the door, open the mosquito door. You know, it's like two doors. One's a net thing, isn't it? And we've gone outside. Quite a large garden, but you can see it all really from there. But you go round sort of to the corner there. So we've gone out there. I'm holding his hand now, right? So he's okay holding my hand. And we've gone in the garden. We've gone round the corner. She's not there. Louder and louder and louder. Oh, there's only one place we haven't looked now. Out the front of the house. So we've come back into the back of the house. I thought, come on, Trace, you must be on your way home now. Come back into the house, and there's the front door. Please, God, I'm going to open this door, and she'll be just putting her key in. Open the front door. No one to be seen. So I thought, well, I'll walk up there. Walk up to the front of her like little pathway, and then from there you can see both ways right along the road, all the way to the school actually, where they've gone to pick up the children. So I thought, well, it's got to be 10 minutes now. If I walk up there and look left, we're bound to see them coming towards us. Bound to see my niece and her husband and great nephew George and great niece Emily coming down the road. So now, remember that now we're now in front of a road. Now, it's not a busy road, okay? But nevertheless, it's a road. So at this point, I thought, I better pick you up here. So I picked him up. That's okay. No problem at all. Not crying louder. But he's already crying quite loud. So we're coming up here, and the first thing he's done is turn left, look left, to see if Mum is coming. No sign of her whatsoever. I thought, oh, no. And now the screaming and the crying has reached fever pitch. Boys go, ah, ah, like that it is. Oh my God. Now, and straight away, this went through my mind, right, immediately. Now this looks really dodgy. Strange man standing, because they won't know me. I've only been there 4 days. Strange man standing at the front of someone's house with the door open, baby in arms, screaming its head off, no sign of his mother. I thought, this looks really good now. Any moment now, the army will turn up, or someone like that, and whisk a big guns pointing at me. Guns pointing at me, and some sort of, what do they call it? Correspondent? You know, some professional correspondent coming down to, okay, you need to hand the baby over to us now, where everything will be fine. Just some expert will come along and try. And I thought, I ain't standing out here waiting for all these eyes to see me. Strange man. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone had turned up at that point. Honestly, because no one knew me. I'm just standing out there with this random child in the middle of the street. And it's screaming its head off. Yeah. So we come back inside, and I thought, well, you're just going to have to put up with this. And I tried to talk. Well, I did talk calmly to him, but to no avail whatsoever. And then, I don't know, about another 10 minutes later it came, and she came in, and the baby's crying. Of course, he's seen her, and more tears. And he's gone running over to her. She said, oh, was there a little problem? I said, Tracy, I won't be doing that again. No, that will not happen again, I'm afraid. Oh, God. And you feel so bad. You feel it's like your fault that the child is crying its eyes out. No, not my fault. It's her for leaving him there, dear, in the arms of a strange man. You know, I feel quite close to the children, but I'm not so close that they would perhaps know me to leave them. I mean, the other ones are all right. You know, 5 and 6 years old. They're okay. But even the little girl, you know, if Mum disappears for too long, my niece, then she gets quite upset. Well, not with Mum or Dad, one or the two. You know, if one of those and the other one's not there, she gets quite upset and starts getting a little bit panicky. Really, I think it's maybe finding them something to do all the while. So that was the baby James meltdown. Please do not ever ask me to babysit if there is a child in there younger than 7. I'll start at 7. You can keep them until 7 years old. I'm not doing that again. Oh, I had a headache after that. Oh dear. Right, let's say hello to some of you this morning. Top of the list there, Mark Jones is in the house with his first message today. Good morning, Mark. Will Peters, a very good morning to you, Will. Adam the Plumber's there. Good morning to Chris Manzar. Katie Ann Patterson. Hello, my sweetheart. Diane Jebb. Hello, Diane. I've still got your card downstairs. I will remember at some point to bring it up to the studio to read everyone. She sent me a lovely birthday card, which I only got a couple of weeks ago, just before I left holiday. Morning to Joanna over on the YouTube. YouTube have changed something, so I don't know if that's affecting you at all. When I looked on the system last night, I thought I can't, because it tends to be, I tend to be in 2 places on YouTube. I'm not quite sure why it is. Well, I could only find one place last night, so I don't know if you're getting notifications and that on YouTube. Strange. Hello to Pasaribo. Good morning, sir. Paul and Lura in the house from Birmingham. Good morning. Oh, the shambles is back. Good morning. Thank you very much, Paul. I know you've missed me. What did you do while I was not here? It's a matter of interest. There you go. There's a question for you. What did you do last week when I wasn't doing this load of rubbish first thing in the morning? Did you do something else? Did you watch the telly or something else? I don't know. Robert Lunn. Good morning, Robert. Have you put the clocks forward too early? Still having breakfast? No, I'm still on Cyprus time. Still on Cyprus time. As you know, the show isn't really scheduled. It generally appears around about 9:30 in the morning, 9 to 9:30. But it isn't really scheduled. I don't have a time that I'm going to start, which is why I always say make sure you got your little notifications switched on if you want to join us in the morning, either on YouTube or Facebook, or even better, both. Have both notifications. Then if one doesn't work, the other one will wake you up. Hello, bing, bing. There's a show on now. And funnily enough, I was talking to Ray Reynolds about this yesterday, our good friend Ray Reynolds, who was recently offered some paid ukulele work. But he thought about it and he decided he didn't want to do that because that's a kind of career move. And one thing Ray said was, well, for a start, he said, I'm 72 years old now and I don't want to start again. I don't go along with that. I don't think you can ever be too old to have a new start of doing something. I often seen in the newspapers very elderly people, much older than you, Ray, who have suddenly decided to do some university course. Quite frankly, how they get along with the millennials, I don't know. You know, I never ever think it's too late to start something. And the other thing is, he didn't want to do it as a job. Him playing the ukulele, and he's like, I mean, he is a professional. Him and his friend Johnny Key, they are professional ukulele players, but they don't want to make it a career. Once it becomes a career, and then you've got to turn up at that point, at that time, on that day, it does change things. It's a bit like this show. Now, I did, a while ago, have a regular time. I mean, there used to be just one a week on a Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. But I found that, I don't know. You in your head, you've got to be here at 11 o'clock in the morning at this time. And it's very different. Now, whenever I fancy doing a show, I just switch on and I do it. You know, remember, it is a hobby, and I don't get paid for this. Years ago, I spoke to a friend of mine who was on quite a lot of talk radio. So he was on talk radio, obviously, and all that. And I'm like, well, do you think I could ever do a show like this? It wasn't like this. It's kind of changed over the years how I do this thing. And I said, I'd quite like to do this. Do you think I could be on the radio? He said, Chris, if you were ever on the radio, within a few weeks, you'd wonder why you ever decided to do that, because you're restricted so much. You're restricted. There are certain rules. There's the Ofcom things. There's this and there's that. You have got to say a lot of it's common sense. But you can't really do what you want to do. Certain things perhaps you couldn't have an opinion on and just say. I could sit here and say, I could swear my head off if I wanted to, but I don't want to. It's not what I do. I don't sit here, swear and hit out abuse at everyone. That's not what I do. But I don't have any restrictions. I can just turn up here, push a few buttons, and off we go. I don't have to be there at the same time. So there's a thing in that, you see. And the reason I'm here early at the moment, Robert, is because unfortunately I'm still on Cypriot time in my head. And this morning again, I mean, it's not like I went to bed early last night because I've had a problem, which I'll tell you about in a minute. I had a problem last night. And it needs to be it's being sorted out at the moment, I hope, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I woke up, even though last night I went to bed about 2:30, I think, in the morning. Well, I woke up again at 6:50 this morning, and it's bright outside, and it's a bit different when it's wet and windy, perhaps a bit cold, and the wind is howling, and it's a bit dark out. You can get back to sleep then. Right, when the sun's out and it's pouring in through the window. Well, it's not pouring in through the window. I've got curtains. But you know what I mean? You can just see it around the sun. Oh, it looks a nice day out there. So I thought I'd just go to the wee. Got up, go to the wee. And of course, the bathroom's bathed in light. And I thought, I can't go back to sleep. I'll just get up. So I got up and I watched the end of Casualty. Last week's Casualty. Because I watched half of it last night while I was doing this thing on the computer. And I watched the other half this morning. Oh, my God, Casualty. Duffy's got dementia, isn't she? Poor Duffy, one of the characters in there. She's got dementia. Oh, incredibly sad. Isn't that what Barbara Windsor's got? That's sad, isn't it? The great Barbara Windsor. And she's got the dementia. She's not. I remember seeing the story in the newspapers yesterday. She's not remembering her friends' names anymore. Oh, dear. Sad, isn't it, really? Good morning to Shabir. Good morning, Shabir. Mike's there. Mike, Reese Ponto. Good morning from Pompeii. Good morning, Mike. Stuart James, Tiberius Franco. Good morning, lovely Stuart. Morning, Stuart. Mike says, yes, I am still on Cyprus time. I'm sorry about that. It's just how it is. I'm sure it'll correct itself at some point. Good morning to Gary Butler, my nephew, Gary. Good morning, Gary. Ray Reynolds, there he is in the house. Mike says, we are very special people. You are very, very special people, dear. Hello to Dr. SOS Gregorian. Katie says it's raining in Australia. Oh, that's good, isn't it? Haven't you had some incredibly dry weather? The trouble is, if you've had a long period of dry weather and you get a deluge of rain, that doesn't really help. They always tell you that doesn't really help, don't they? You've got to have permanent, constant rain for a long period of time to sort of hydrate the earth underneath there. Good morning to John Pinkerton. Good morning, John. Sunny over Western Australia there. Jason Shaw. Good morning, Jason. Michael Pullman. A lot of us, the Australians are all tuning into the show now. They're all, well, I am very, very big in Australia. Also on the Scows as well. I'm very big on there. John likes the stories. Thank you, John. I'm glad you like the stories. None of them are made up, you know. These are all true stories. Hello to the delightful Michelle White. Good morning, Michelle. All right, I'm having lunch with her today. She's head of Waitrose. Michelle owns Waitrose. And I'm having lunch with her and my best friend. We're going to TGI Fridays today in Bracknell, I think, around about 12:30, 1 o'clock. So looking forward to that. They have a lovely vegan burger. Don't know if you've tried it yet. I had one in Cyprus when I took out my niece and her family. We had a little TGI Fridays on the right next to the sea. It was actually, and that was quite nice. A vegan burger, beautiful, really nice, and it's done exactly the same as the other burgers, except no dead animals in the middle of those two bits of bread. So very tasty indeed. Morning to Thomas H. Morning, Thomas. Raining in Queensland. Yes, very hot there in the summer, isn't it? Oh my God, the steam. I have been to Queensland a couple of times. Very, very nice. Nice there. There's a road actually. You know Cairns. There's like a long straight, it goes on forever, this road. And I don't think it turns, I don't think there's any corners at all in this road. It's just long and straight. Oh, they've got some really posh houses on that. Oh, beautiful, beautiful houses they are. I remember the first time I went there and we're walking up this road. We were trying to find a pizza place. It was me. My cousin had just got married, Vince. So there was me, my cousin Vince, and his new wife, Anna. And I was staying at one resort and they were staying at another. So we met up for lunch. And there was as we were walking along, Anna, who's got a heart of gold, right? There was this little bug on the pavement or on the path, whatever it was, as we were walking. And it was upside down. Its little legs were going like that. Like a beetle. It was a beetle. I like that word. Beetle. It was a beetle. Its little legs are going like that, right? And my what would you call her? My cousin-in-law, I suppose, would be my cousin's wife, would she? My cousin-in-law, she said, Oh, look at the little bug. We need to help that. And very carefully, I think she had a pointed shoe on. She kind of just gently flipped it over, this little beetle. Ah, there, it's all right now. And with that, the thing stood up on its hind legs and just spat at us. Hissed. Well, that's all the thanks we got. Should have trodden on the bloody thing and be done with it. Isn't it funny? Sometimes you go to help things, like animals as well. Cats. Cats, if a cat is sick and you try and help it, it can scratch you to bits. Poor little things. Oh, we like animals, so we tried to help the bug, but it didn't really happen there. As the laptop, I'll come to that in a minute, Adam, all right? Let's have a look. Last week without you just rocked, curled up and cried, as did Katie. Did you cry last week because I wasn't here? I'm sorry. Thank you, Jason. The word was negotiators, yes. When we talked about baby James earlier, I'd imagine, the army would have turned up and a negotiator. Yep, oh, just hand over the child to us now, sir. Everything will be fine. You've got nothing to worry about. No harm. Just hand over. Give us the child. At which point my niece would have come down, I know, and saved the day. She would have just looked at the woman. Well, it would have been a woman, wouldn't it, I suppose, negotiators like that when they got children involved. She would have just looked at the woman and the woman would have just melted. My niece can melt snowflakes. Oh, yes. My niece is not a snowflake. No, she is a millennial, which is kind of bad news, but we don't like millennials. But she's not a snowflake, not my niece, no. She sees all these stories in the newspapers, the ones I mean, about people being offended and all that. She just, oh God, not again. She's like that. My niece can melt snowflakes. Believe me, don't ever cross her. Joanna, it's still stewed up. Is it YouTube? Is it not working? You must have got them a thing from YouTube today, did you, Joanna? Hello to Joseph McDonald. Good morning, Joe. Joe was a customer. Used to come into a pub I worked at called the Penny Farthing in Hammersmith. That is 30 odd years ago. Isn't it wonderful sitting here doing these shows, you see? I've got like 56 years of stories worth, well, perhaps not worth, but available to tell you, which I can just grab whatever you're talking about, I've probably done something to do with it and I can turn it into a story. Clever, isn't it, really? Adam, I watched classic episodes of United Kingdom Talk while you were away, such as classics as the deck chair disaster and other classics like Cooking with Chris and a vintage episode where you had hair. Not anymore. I like that. A vintage episode when you had hair. And the studio was naked after redeck. Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, there was. It's not always been like this. If you go onto YouTube, just type in my thing, United Kingdom Talk, I don't know, 2005 or something like that, and you'll see how it all used to look. It was very plain. There was nothing like this or the pictures behind. It was very plain. And at one point we decorated, but I wanted to carry on doing the shows, you see, and I literally took the stuff off the wall and it was all torn and all that. And it was just used to be like a Union Jack flag hanging up behind me, yeah. Jason, carry on with the hellos, Chris. I'm carrying on, dear. Carrying on. Hello to Martin Edwards. Missed the morning broadcast. Thank you very much. Very kind, as did Paul and Lou. We missed you. We watched your clips. I did do little clips. I do these little Instagram videos as well. If you want to join us on Instagram, it's Chris Reardon UK. All right, my name on there, Chris Reardon UK. Hello to Tiago. Good morning. Oi to you. Oi to you. Paul and Lou has heard that I'm very big down. They used to call me Donkey Kong. That's... Hello to FaZe. Good morning, FaZe. Mr. Burger. Morning to Mr. Burger. That's a good name, isn't it? Jason, it will rain if you squash beetles. Is that like an old wives' tale? Raining if you squash beetles. Possibly it does. John thought I was always sitting in a lovely orchard. No, it's just a picture, I'm afraid. The summer one. I've already got the summer one. I bought the latest backgrounds back in September. I choose 4. There's a great big catalogue, and they're not, I'll be honest with you, they're not expensive. You're probably looking at them and think that's an expensive picture. No, that was about 20 quid. About 20 quid, 33 Australian, 33 American, maybe about 40 Australian. Yeah, so it was about 20 quid. Those backgrounds are not, and they're material. It's just a very thin material. The summer one's great. I'm not even, I won't tell you what it is. That will appear March, April, May. That'll appear in March, April, May, June, July. The summer one will appear in July. Down at the caravan, I've just got the one of the backdrop there. All right. Good. So last night's karaoke then. Here comes the problem story. So last night karaoke, a really good night. We had a lot of people turn up last night. Great atmosphere in there, except for one particular song. A girl in there who I haven't seen before. She did this song from Led Zepplin. Oh my God, it was bloody awful. Not her singing. In fact, there was hardly any singing at all. It was all like guitar and instrumental. Not only that, this blasted thing was about 9 or 10 minutes long. Does anyone know the song? It might have the word loved, if I loved you or something like that. If you told me what the song is, I might remember it. It was awful. And then she was complaining that the words and the music were moving at different times. Now, this does occasionally happen. Don't know why it is, but usually, you're looking at it and you think, oh, that's slightly out. And I can do something while someone's singing to pull it back into so that the words and the music should match each other up. Occasionally, not very often. When I say occasionally, I mean one karaoke night out of about 25. Sometimes it starts going, and I don't know why that is. Well, what are those two yellow things on there? What's that on? Oh, it must be my screen. Oh, I think I've got pixels are failing on my monitor there. There's like a yellow thing there. There's nothing there, is there? Yellow thing. Let me see. Where is it now? Yellow thing just below the Barry Manley. Have you got any marks there? Can you see anything there? Like a couple of yellow lines? Or is that just on my monitor? There, they're there. Got a couple of yellow lines on there. They're straight yellow lines. Anyone see those? It's not Stairway to Heaven, no. Anyway, so she's singing this song. The first one she sang, she was moaning that... Well, she wasn't singing. She was saying that the words and all that. I said, well, do you want to do the other one? And now this, unfortunately, when something goes wrong, it breaks the flow. It breaks the flow of the night. And I hate that. I really hate that. It's like having a gap and everything's flat and then suddenly everything stops because something's gone wrong. Now, generally, we don't really have technical failures. Very, very rare to have a technical failure. It's usually someone's come up and they don't like the version of the song that's on, or there's something wrong, they're not happy with the microphone or something like that. It's usually the contestant, the person who's coming up and sing. So she can't sing this song. Now, it might have been that the words and the music were out of sync. I don't know, because I'd never heard of the song before. That was another Led Zeppelin one, incidentally. Was it Thank You? It might have been Thank You, Jason. I'm not sure. It might have been Thank You. I'm not sure. But I know this Led Zeppelin song was about 9 minutes long. So then she said, well, let's try the Led Zeppelin one. So I put it on, not really knowing what that song was as well. And it started, a lot of guitar, and I'm standing up there. And she's now sat down on this bench behind me. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's a bit of an instrumental. Well, after a minute, this bloody guitar is still playing. She's not sung yet. I said, well, how long is this intro? And it went on and on. Anyway, so she starts singing it. It was just awful. And it was one of those depressing songs. This Led Zeppelin, there's some good Stairway to Heaven. It's good if it's sung well. Okay? Anyway, we got eventually to the end of the song and that was it. Anyway, so apart from that one, and there was another one that I thought was a bit depressing. Oh, that Frankie Goes to Hollywood. The Power of Love. The Power of Love. Another one that I'm not keen of. So depressing. Really depressing. So they're the two bad songs in there last night. Not the way they were sung, the selection of the song, right? I'll never tell you that there was a bad singer in there. I would never, ever tell you that. If I thought Joe Bloggs, who came, he came and sung at 8 o'clock, he was dreadful, absolutely awful. I will never tell you there's a bad singer, okay? It's the selection of the song. Because I've said to you before, it doesn't matter. You can be a good singer, bad singer, don't care. Don't care. If you want to come and sing, it's a good laugh. It's the selection of the song that is the most important thing. You can be the worst singer in the world and come on and sing badly I Want to Dance with Someone by Whitney Houston, or like me, Save All Your Kisses for Me. If you sing that badly, doesn't matter. Because it's up and it's bouncy and people will generally sing along with you. That's it. But choose a ballad and sing that badly. Well, no, it's the wrong song for you to sing, mate. Bloody ballads. So that's that. Now, what happened at the beginning of the night was the karaoke laptop, which is reasonably new, I suppose about 1.5 years old. I suppose it might be coming on 2 years now, that one. I remember just before, let's see what people are saying. Led Zepplin is going to be in Cardiff on April the 3rd, okay? So excellent there, yes. John, it's about getting up and having a good time. Exactly. Good morning to Moses. Would you like to talk about setting up a 24-hour web radio mobile community platform? No, don't want to do that. But thank you for offering that to me, okay? Right. So at the beginning of the night, I remember just before I went off holiday and I was shutting down the computer, it came up with that message at the bottom, update and restart, or update and shut down. I thought, oh, Christ, well, I don't want to do an update now. I'm just about to go off on holiday. So I did update and shut down, and it went through its process and eventually shut down, put the computer away, got in the car, went home. That was 1.5 weeks ago, okay? So I was already aware of this before I set off to work. Now, normally, if something like that has happened, then I will do it at home. So I'll bring the computer home, okay? And I will open it up and I will restart it there to make sure everything works. So I've got ages then to sort it out, right? Unfortunately, this time I couldn't do that because I was just about to go on holiday when it did the update. So it's done that. And then on the way to work, I suddenly remembered, this did an update and shut down. So it will need a little bit more time to do its update and start up again. So got to work, set up the computer, first thing I did, and turned it on. So of course it took a long time to come on because it's doing its update thing. Eventually it comes to the screen, put in the password, and it fired up. I thought I'll leave it for a little while. Sometimes it takes a bit longer because you've just done an update, so I'll leave it for a little while. Setting up everything else, plugging in wires, microphones, set up the mixer, plugged into their sound system, and that's it. Right, okay, let's fire up the karaoke software. So I've hit my Karma karaoke thing. And it's kind of going round and round. And sometimes it does do that. It can take sometimes 20 or 30 seconds for this particular program to start. Don't know why that is. That's just how it is. But I accept that. So this thing's going around. Okay, I'll leave that for a while. Went to the toilet, come back, it's still doing it. And then it came on, the little screen. Karma karaoke software. Right, so it's there. And it's hanging. Oh, my God. Well, I'll leave it a bit longer. Generally, sometimes you can leave things and then 2 minutes later they suddenly burst into life. And I left this and I went out to the car, got my jacket, came back in the car, still hanging. I thought, oh God, no. What's gone wrong here? I'll try and fire up the music software. So I've done the music. That's not starting either. Oh, what's going on here? I thought, okay, I'll do a restart. Clicked on the little thing in the corner. And it won't restart. Won't do anything. The whole thing is just hanging. I thought, well, I've got no choice. I'll have to force stop it. Push the power button. Off it all goes. Push the power button on again. And it's firing up. Again, it's taking a while to fire up. Eventually it fires up. I leave it for a while. Then I try and open the music software. Right? So I run 2 pieces of software when I do karaoke. There's the karaoke software and the music software, which plays the music in between the songs that people are singing. Firing it on, it's come up with some sort of error message. So the program won't start. Won't start at all. Right? The music program won't start. I thought, okay, well, there's a way around that. I can play a long mix on another bit of software, and I'll sort that out when I get home. Fired up the karaoke software, and it came on. Oh, it came on straight away. Oh, great. And then went off again. I tried it again. Same thing happened. I thought, oh dear. Restarted the computer twice. Same fault. Now, fortunately, I carry a backup. Now, the backup computer is the same computer that I use to broadcast the show on the internet. So I've swapped this over. It's now 7:10. I'm due on 7:30. So I've got time to play with. This is why I get to places early. Some people don't understand why I get to places half an hour, 45 minutes before I'm due to go on. Sometimes an hour. Right? That's why. Because when something goes wrong, you've got time to sort the damn thing out. Remember, people coming into the pub, right? Bar staff doesn't turn up, someone can probably cover. I don't turn up, 7:30, too late to get anyone else, no entertainment. See? So it's so important that you've got some sort of backup. So I've now swapping the computers over and got the old computer. I had to do a few little bits to it because I hadn't used it for so long to do a karaoke night. But it all fired up eventually, and that's working now. The other one won't even start now. Won't even start out. Eventually it started doing this trying to repair your computer thing, and then it would get so far and then shut down again. Oh dear. So I don't tell anyone this while I'm trying to fix something. And the reason is, at the kindness of their hearts, if I say, sorry, I've got a computer problem at the moment, if I was to say that, 10 people will come onto the stage. Oh, I know about computers. And then you just can't do anything because you've then got 10 voices shouting at you, try this, do this, do this. So you've got to do it on your own. You've got to leave and do it on your own. Then, as the night went on, another friend of mine, Robert, he's the guy with the glasses, short guy with glasses, and he's got a different hair now, which is like beautiful hair he's got actually. Robert, he's a short bloke and he wears the glasses. And I said, oh, you do computers, didn't you? He said, yeah. I said, come have a look at this for us. So he's having a look at it and he's done some stuff on it. And then someone else came up and he said, do you want a hand? This was Robert's friend. I said, oh, no, I can't have anyone up. And Robert says, he's a software engineer. Right, come up on the stage. So the two of them are now next to me on the stage doing this thing. Now, I'm very grateful. I don't actually like anyone else on the stage other than the singer and myself, because I just think from the audience point of view, it doesn't look good. You know, you wouldn't see like a bloke on the stage or a woman in the West End sweeping or repairing something, would you? You just wouldn't see it. But I haven't got much choice here. There's nowhere else for them to go. So I was grateful that they came up and they're doing stuff to the computer. Meanwhile, the show is now on. People are coming up and singing. Unfortunately, because of that's going on over there, I can't give everything my full attention. But it seemed to be all right last night. He's doing some stuff to the computer and he says, "No, something's broken there." He said, "Have you got everything backed up somewhere?" I said, "I've got 3 external hard drives that I have, and they've all got a complete copy of all the music. That is all my old DJ music, and all the karaoke songs are all on these 3 separate. I back it up 3 times, and I do that. Funnily enough, I've only just done it, so it's bang up to date." He said, "Okay." He said, "What I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and factory reset your computer." Okay. So he did some stuff to it. He said, "Right, you literally just got to leave it alone now. This will take a long time. This will take a long time." Do you remember that program? It was on Channel 3, I think it was, BBC 3. "This is going to take a long time." The traffic warden. Do you remember her? The one with the glasses. Although I must say that saying got on my nerves in the end, so I stopped watching it. So the computer is now doing its thing. It's done a factory reset and it's saying copying files and all this, that. It took forever, right? In fact, I got to the end of the night, 11 o'clock, and it was still doing it. Now, fortunately, being a relatively new computer, the battery lasts a long time. So I packed everything away and I left that to the last minute. And then I unplugged the power supply. But you can't switch it off once it's doing this. You'll kill the computer. So literally, I've put stuff in the car and then carried the laptop, onto the front seat and just closed down the lid, because you don't want to. I mean, if I've got the blooming picture open, police come past me, probably think you're watching a film or something, like the blooming Uber drivers do. So I closed the lid a little bit so I couldn't see it, and I drove home and I got back here. And by the time I got back here, it said complete please run Windows Update when you've restarted. So I brought it into the house, run the Windows Update. When I got back here, that would be about 12:30, 12:30, past midnight last night. And did this window, and I've left it running all night long. So now, this morning I've got up, it's come back to the type in your password screen, so type in password, and it's continuing to do its update. So that will take some time, but I literally have a new computer, if you see what I mean. Assuming it all works, I've got to reload on the software that I had, the music software, the karaoke software. The karaoke software is interesting because it's got like a license number, and what I've got to do is go onto the website. Karma is Karma, Karma karaoke software. I've got to go onto the Karma website and disallow the license on the computer because that's gone now. Okay, it's cleared the computer. So I've got to disallow or disconnect the license number from that and then re-download the software and put the license number in again because it will only allow one computer at any given time to work with the thing, you see? So that's how it works. So fingers crossed. And then I'll have to, once I've got the Karma in there and I've got my music software, then I've got to load in the drivers to the sound card. And then finally plug in my hard drive and put all the music back on there. And then hopefully that will work. But I've never had to do that before. All those years I've had computers, I've never really had a failure like that where I can't even start the thing. Strange, really, isn't it? And it's all to do with some Windows update, which it didn't like, or, I don't know. Maybe I didn't leave it long enough before I started opening programs. I don't know. Maybe I'd have left it an hour or something, which I would have done if I'd have been at home. But there it was. I was at work. We had to start. It's like 10 to 7 now. I've got 40 minutes and it's not starting. I thought, well, I've got to do something. Maybe it's because I shut it down when the program stopped rather than waiting half an hour for them to open, possibly. Don't know what caused it, but I've never had that before. So fingers crossed, at some point today, it may burst into life. And once I've loaded on the stuff, it'll take, it's a few hours work, that is. The thing is with computers, when you do something like that, it's all the waiting for the restarting and the updates going on and all this, that and the other. Interestingly, on the backup computer, which is my older computer, when I went to shut that down last night, it came up, update and restart. So I hope the same thing doesn't happen to that one. I think, well, of course, it will now do it, you see. Now, I've had to update and shut down, so I'll bring that computer in as well. Actually, that's a good idea. I haven't done that yet. I'll better bring that computer in as well and do that as well while I'm at home. So that was the disaster on the computer last night. So at this moment, it's downstairs doing its updates and things like that, which takes hours. Hours and hours. That's one of those things, isn't it? Adam says, the show that used the quote, "This is going to take a long time." Little Miss Jocelyn, that was it. Little Miss Jocelyn on BBC Three. Do you remember that? It was. I managed a few episodes of that, but then it seemed to be the same thing all the time, didn't it? Little Miss Jocelyn, bless her heart. That's my news. That's my news at the moment. Okay, where's your messages there? Oh, you're quite happy listening to the stories, aren't you? Chris Manzar, wait, Led Zepplin Masters. Are they coming out? Are they? Led Zepplin Masters, something like that? I don't know what that is, Led Zepplin Masters. Oh, of course I do know. Stupid. Of course I know what that is. Good morning to Diana. Morning, Diana. Nice to see you joining us this morning. Better late than never, eh, dear? Better late than never. Right, I've got a few stories for you this morning. Now, have you ever discovered a horrible smell? Well, I had this once at a place I worked, which will remain nameless. It stank in there. It absolutely stank. And we couldn't work out what the smell was. And this went on for months in this particular. It was a putrid, horrible smell. I likened it to a very strong smell of a damp dishcloth that you've left somewhere. That's what I liken the smell to that is in this venue. Eventually, they found out what it was. And it was the same as this story here. Okay? Student, 26, who put up with death smell. It did actually smell like death. makes horrifying discovery in shower. Look at this. A young student says she put up with a death smell in her newly built flat for months, only to make a horrifying discovery under her shower. Soren Gomez, this is in this morning's Daily Mirror, said she was left disgusted after finally investigating the putrid stench and finding a rotting rat carcass behind a panel as her flat became infested with flies. Oh, aren't they disgusting things, flies? Oh, they're horrible. Initially, the foul odour smelt like dirty water, like a cloth, you see, and a food bin, but gradually it got worse, the 26-year-old Liverpool John Moores University student said. She told the Liverpool Echo that the smell was so bad that she wouldn't bring anyone into her £118 a week deluxe studio apartment because she was too embarrassed. A few weeks after she moved in last September, she said the flat began to smell like there was something dead inside it. She's studying a master's degree. The smell kept getting worse and worse, and at first it smelled like dirty water, then it was like a food bin. I couldn't bring anyone to the studio because the smell was so bad. She had to light candles and incense burners to try and mask the smell. I studied decomposition as part of my master's, so I know what it smells like. People thought I was crazy because it smells like something's dead in my house. She complained to the contractors, and sent footage which showed flies and captured the sounds of rats in walls. Now, I've heard this before. People who literally can hear rats in their walls. They can get into the walls, you see. When a maintenance worker arrived to change the light bulb, she asked him to remove the shower panel, and they found a rotting rat. Oh, dear. She added, I didn't want to take the panel off myself because it would be classed as damage to the property. Well, you see, it would. That's the trouble. You can't do anything yourself in a rented house. I asked the maintenance man to do it, and he said, I think there's something dead under there. When he took it off, there was a dead rat, and the smell was absolutely awful. So there we are. A spokesman for the Trophy Homes, said we were asked by the landlord to attend the property, and we did all we could find to find the root of the issue, particularly as it's new built and the tenant is the first resident. Both specialist drainage and pest control contractors visited the property on separate occasions and were unable to pinpoint the underlying cause. So there we are. Isn't that awful? And as I say, it does remind me when I was working in this venue, and the stench was unbelievable. People would be sitting there eating lunch, and we had no idea what the smell was. Eventually, what happened, and they spent quite a lot of money trying to find out what this smell was. Eventually, someone went in there and for some reason took down part of the false ceiling in this particular venue. I won't tell you what one it was. And literally, dozens of dead rats fell out. And that's what the smell was. And they got rid of that, and they found a hole. What was happening is that it was a basement, okay? And what was happening, these rats, this was in London, the rats were getting in and then literally falling down this hole into the gap between the false ceiling and sort of the floor level upstairs. And once they were down there, they couldn't get out and simply died. The thing is, I don't know why no one ever heard anything in it. I suppose the music was loud. That's why nothing was ever heard. It used to stink in there. It went on for months. Eventually, they found the problem and got rid of it like that. But awful. If you've had rats or anything like that living in your house, awful. Awful. John says, yeah, it was my ex-boyfriend, the name. Was it really? Craig is a bit late this morning. Morning, Craig. Bad smell. Yeah, it's a bit like that in my bedroom sometimes. I won't lie to you. You know, when I've had the baked beans and the onions mixed together. Poor little rat, Jason says. Yeah, poor little rat. Poor little... People have rats as pets, don't they, as well? Dear me. John says, I understand this poor girl, my ex, was a rat and she was also dead inside. Morning to Maureen joining us. Good morning, Maureen. You're right, darling. We got there eventually last night. We had a lovely night last night. Maureen sung some ABBA again. She's good at the ABBA. We like Maureen singing ABBA. Good morning to Simon Keane, who says, good to have you back, sir. Lovely hot weather ice cream time. My pal drives an ice cream van and always has trouble parking, so I told him to put some cones out. Oh, dear. You and your jokes, Simon. Simon also says, Mr. Chop Chop, say hi to my Alton Towers workmates, Hugo, and my other mate who's a very frightening Gary Leo. Thanks, Galileo. Isn't that the name of a satellite, a Galileo? Oh, Adam, do you remember the other venue with the bad smell I fixed? Yes. Adam, again, I won't mention the name of the venue. Adam's a plumber. And there was a venue I worked at as well that just kept getting this waft of wee. You know, urine. It was awful. Awful. You'd be standing there, be all right sometimes, and suddenly this waft of wee would come. And it was coming from underneath. We could smell it coming underneath the floorboards. Adam went in there, and apparently he'd had a few different plumbers in there, charging them exorbitant rates of thing. Adam went in there. If you ever Adam to do any plumbing work, he won't rip you off. He's the same as me. We feel too guilty to rip people off. Honestly, I can't. I've never ripped people off. No. When you go, oh yeah, it's £150 call out, mate, or all this old crap. No, not for Adam, it's not. Anyway, and he went in there and he found a leaking pipe and he had to reroute the pipes in there and sorted out the problem there. I'll never forget. Oh, it stunk of wee in there. Oh, it was awful, wasn't it? Right, what's the time? Oh, we'll do one more story. So what was that? One of the rats I meant to tell you was weighed over half a kilo. That's a fat rat, innit? Fat rat, poor little thing. Jason, I've worked on the doors and venue I work stunk of wee as well. Isn't it awful? I didn't know you did door work, Jason. When I become rich and famous and I'm on my own chat show on BBC One Colour, you can be my bodyguard if you want to. You can be my bodyguard. Great film by Whitney Houston, The Bodyguard as well. One more story then. Let's do something. There's a lot of serious. The whole. Oh, did you see that? Anyone heard the news this morning? The House of Commons is ripping themselves apart. I've never seen anything like it. The Tories, the Conservatives, are absolutely tearing each other apart now. You watch this happen now. This is getting worse and worse and worse, this whole Brexit thing. You got the Tories ripping themselves apart. A leader that no one's taken any notice of anymore. What's the alternative? Jeremy Corbyn? There's no one to run the country. I think I should put my name forward. What do you think? Put my name forward for President of the or Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Eh? God, what a mess, dear. And they're all at it, both sides. Both sides, and you get the poison dwarf from Scotland. She's out there screaming her head off all the time, isn't she? Thank you, Jason. Jason's offered to look after me. I'd be very happy for you to look after me, Jason. Very happy indeed. All right. One more story then. We know the more aerodynamic you are, the faster and more economically you move through air. Thank you, John would vote for me. Thank you, John. Well, again, in the Daily Mirror this morning, a man stripped naked before boarding his flight to make himself more aerodynamic. Footage of the man, 38, in the Daily Mirror this morning, whose identity has not been revealed, shows him standing naked as he waits his turn to board the Ural Airlines flight at Russia's Domodedovo airport in Moscow. The nude intruder was then caught by airport staff as he ran onto the jet bridge and detained by police, the Moscow Times reports. One passenger was quoted by Ren TV saying he shouted that he was naked because clothing impairs the aerodynamics of the body. He flies with more agility when undressed. And I've got to be honest, it's not the best body in there. He's got a dad body, a bit like mine. You know, I haven't certainly not got the best body in the world. I'm telling you that now, especially since I put on another stone since I stopped going to Slimming World. But we're holding at just over 13 stone at the moment. Footage shows the man completely naked when he's handcuffed. I wonder where they put the handcuffs. They need ones that really open wide for me. He is first seen kneeling in front of the officers. I've done that before. In the middle of a corridor before he turns sideways and leans his back and legs against the sidewalls. The passenger appears to regret being stopped as he stares blankly ahead. He didn't show signs of being drunk, witnesses claim. So that's in the Daily Mirror this morning. After the police had detained the offender, he was taken to the airport's medical room and was then hospitalised in a medical facility. So, did he really think? I mean, getting on a plane naked? Well, I mean, actually, it would. It would, because you wouldn't weigh so much. I mean, can you imagine doing it on a British Airways club class seat? Turning up naked. All the posh people up there. Oh, they'd be horrified, wouldn't they? Absolutely horrified. Paul and Lou, Nicola Sturgeon. Is it Jimmy Cranky? I think it could well be. John's got to get his popcorn. John wants to know, is he good looking? No, mate. No. You'd get more out of taking a screenshot of me and putting that up on your wall. Shall I give you a pose? Screenshot now. You ready, everyone? There you go. All right. Let's do today's birthdays, and I must get a few bits. I didn't have a chance to cut that grass last night. Literally, as soon as I finish the show and I've uploaded the summary, I'm going to cut the grass and then go swimming, and then I'm meeting up with my friend Michelle, who works at who owns Waitrose. I beg your pardon, who owns Waitrose. Let's do today's birthdays. We've only got 4 today. Let's see. Rachel Davis. Good morning, Rachel. Lives down in Woking, very posh part of the world. 55 today. Good morning, Rachel. Happy birthday to the lovely Rachel Davis. She is possibly one of the biggest Barry Manilow fans of all time. Good morning, Rachel. Happy birthday. Mark Bonner today is 45 years old. Happy birthday, Mark. Okay. Kristina Shestinia is 27 years old on this Tuesday, the 26th of March. And Andy Hurst today is 54 years old. So happy birthday, boys and girls. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. There we are. Happy birthday, boys and girls. Jason said he once went to the owner's house of Sainsbury's, a dirty old kit. Did you really? Did you get any nectar points for that? I did actually. I sent a little tweet to British Airways. As you know, I wasn't happy with the legroom I had on my club class seat. There was no extra legroom. Really disappointed on the A320 that I took to Cyprus. They haven't got back to me yet, so I'll let you know what happens with that. But last night when I was doing the stuff to the computer last night, I thought I'd look up a different way to get to Cyprus. I looked at some different airlines. I mean, it's pointless looking at Ryanair or EasyJet or something like that because they've got no like bigger seats. I want a seat with longer legroom. It's a blooming 4 to 5 hour flight going there, and I can't find one. They're all those A320 planes, which they've got just 3 seats like that with the table, so they remove the one in the middle for the club class. But you've got no extra legroom. There must be a better way to get to Cyprus. I don't think you can sail there. I mean, if you could, it'd probably take about a week to get there. Is there anyone know any other ways to get to Cyprus? Either than a British Airways, it can't be an A320 plane because of the way they're configured. Are there any larger planes that go to Cyprus? I don't think there is. Annoying. Oh, maybe I should look at. I don't know how much first class will be for that. Let's put that in. If anyone does that, that should give us some leg room, but I don't know how much that will be. That might be prohibitively expensive, I suppose, something like that. Joanna, get those earplugs out. I've finished singing now, and I'm going to go. Thanks ever so much for joining us for the show today, boys and girls. A pleasure, as always, to have our little chatettes at this time in the morning. You have a lovely day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye now.